You've just built your first drone, you're super excited and you want to show all your mates what it's about and you're thinking about what camera can I strap to it, but you're not sure, do you want to strap a $500 GoPro on there? Well, stay tuned because we're going to check out this bad boy and it is a lot cheaper. G'day, Stu from UAVfutures here, and today, well, this one's going out for you camera files out there, you people who like to do some HD recording, flying around, sticking a camera to the top of your drone. Today, what we're going to be talking about is the new, and I say this with inverted commas, the new RUNCAM 5, because they really should have called it the RUNCAM 6. About a year ago, there was a RUNCAM 5, which looks very, very similar, but this bad boy, it's the RUNCAM 5 Orange, which is like a new version. They should have just called it the RUNCAM 6, and overall, what we're going to do in this video, it's coming in significantly cheaper. I'll put the price, I think it's around $100 anyway. I'll put the price up here of what it is, but it is significantly cheaper out there. It's in this kind of session size. It is a lot lighter. So what we're going to do, we're going to find out just how well does this go. Is it worth spending like the $500 on a GoPro 8, or are some people out there suited to a cheap little camera like this? And also a good thing about being cheap, if you break it, well, you're not going to be out of pocket quite so much. So let's do it. Let's stick it on the bench, look at the text and the specs. It's doing some really cool things, and I love the way you can set the settings in here. And then the big one, we just get out to the field. We have some crazy weather conditions, but that aside, we film it and you decide, do you like the footage? So let's do it. First things first, let me open up my phone right here, and I should say, one thing I really love about this is how you can configure it. So we'll stick it on the scales because it's a nice little light little camera. It's going to come in at 55 grams. You can see there's a little SD card slot on the side, and I do like they've actually got a little latch here. You put your SD card in, slide it back. You're not going to be losing your SD card. On that, it's got a one button press and you charge it by a micro USB. So that's it. It's a very, very simple little cam. It's coming in 55 grams, but check this out. This is how you set it. So you open up the RUNCAM app, you select, okay, look, here's the RUNCAM. This is the one that I want to get. Oh, and you can see here's the other RUNCAM 5, but the RUNCAM 5 Orange. Stupidest naming structure I've ever seen. Let's open it up. QR code configuration. In here, you can go through all the sorts of different settings and all that sort of thing. And I love that you can set it on your phone and it doesn't need to be connected to Wi-Fi, because I find that is a really dumb feature. It chews the battery much more than it should. This is just such a more elegant solution. So anyway, we're going to go through. You can change your resolutions, like I should show you guys. So you've got 4K, 2.7 at different frames per second. Different, you got different aspect ratios too, 16:9, 4:3, whole bunch of different settings you can choose in here. You can set your volume to normal or FPV. All that FPV setting does is it just muffles it and mutes it a lot. Otherwise, you're going to be hearing a lot of screaming. You know, the engine sort of screaming, or motor screaming, I should say, when it's flying around. So we could set that to FPV. You can change your shutter speed. You've also got your ISO sensitivity. Here you can do almost like a fisheye sort of correction, all that sort of stuff under distortion corrector. But let's say these are the exact settings that I want. All you need to do is click apply, and then make sure the SD card's in here, turn the camera on. You go through, you double click the button on the top. I don't have an SD card in here at the moment, all good. And then it will beep a few times. You point it at this QR code, and then those settings are stored on here. So what I really, really like is you could print some of these out, have them in your pocket. So even if your phone goes flat, oh, I want to record in 1080 at 60 frames per second, pull the little card out, scan it, or I want to do some 4K footage right now, beep, or maybe you want to use this as an infield mic. So you've got one setting where the auto is on, the volume is on normal instead of FPV feed, scan it, then you can start doing a bit of vlogging or whatever you guys do in the field, you can use that. So overall, I think this is a much, much better solution for these little cameras that don't have a screen on the back or anything like that, because I hate the Wi-Fi connection when it comes to using it on your phone. So anyway, look, that's it on the bench. That's the RUNCAM 5 or RUNCAM 6 or RUNCAM 5 Orange, or I like to say the RUNCAM 6. Let's go do it. Let's fly this thing around, find out just how well it goes, and yeah, just find out, is this a good cheap solution for you guys out there, or are you better off saving up the big dollars for the GoPro 8? So let's do it. Go have some fun with Long Range Tony in 3, 2, 1. Radio out here in the field. Let's do it. I'm holding this camera like a scozzer. Hold this bad boy. Radio. Radio out here in the field, let's do it. We've got the RUNCAM like 5, the orange one, the updated one, whatever it is. We're going to put it in your quad, Tony, fly it around and see if it turns on, because last time, remember we had it out in the field and we just couldn't get it to respond.
Yeah, that's right, that's right.
So we've reset it.
Is it the same camera?
It is the same camera, so we'll see if we can get some recordings. If not, we might be all out of luck. So let's do it and see how it goes. Show you guys the HD footage. We are recording, check. Radio, here we go on board, and we're going to turn the sound up in a little bit so you can listen towards the end of the video. But one thing I want to make clear, this is in 2.7, so make sure if you're watching this on YouTube, or of course you're watching this on YouTube, adjust that little icon so you can check out the quality. And also, the wind here is ridiculous, absolutely insane. So this is one of the few times when I was flying, it almost blew me over when I was standing up flying around. I had to take a step forward to stop myself from getting blown over. So the weather was absolutely just some of the, I don't know what's going on with the Australian weather lately. It seems to be never very conducive to flying. But let's talk about the actual camera itself. We're not judging the flight too much because, look, it's just me doing some dodgy acro, and it's all about how's this thing rendering, I guess, or how much information is it taking in, how clear is the picture, what does the grass look like, is it merging together, what do the blacks look like, all that sort of stuff, the contrast, the whites in the sky, all that sort of stuff. How does this cheap camera go for about $100 compared to something like the GoPro, which is going to be significantly more expensive? And I got to say, my first impressions, it is pretty bloody good for the price of actually getting a decent camera out there. I understand it's not going to be for everybody, those extreme people who like to film with the GoPro, with stabilization, all that sort of stuff. This isn't going to cut it for those people. But if you're watching this footage, and I think the colors look a little bit flat, but I haven't done anything extra to them. I haven't added any Pro Tune, I haven't done any After Effects or added any extra detail in Premiere Pro, nothing like that. This is just pretty much stock out of the box 2.7K, and I got to say, I'm kind of happy with the detail on the screen. Sometimes I find there's a little bit of smearing. Right here you can see the wind. This is trying to get a close-up of the tree because it really was pushing me around. Probably a little bit dark as well, although it's a very overcast day, so I definitely might be boosting the brightness and maybe the colors a little bit as well if I really wanted to look nice and juicy. But overall, I'm going to say the wide dynamic range is okay, the detail is fine, the audio, which I'll play in a little bit as well towards the end of this video, is adequate. But look, who really likes listening to FPV noise anyway? And look, overall, I'm going to say if you want a cheap camera, I think you're absolutely going to have a good time with this. But if you want to get something that's a lot higher quality and be prepared to pay for it with something like the GoPro Hero 8. So anyway, just a short little sharp, sweet video. We're going to wrap it up in a minute, just trying to bring this thing. Tony's going to land it for me because I'm using his quad, his radio, and yeah, just once again, don't judge the flight because the weather is ridiculous. And nice red shoes you got there too, Tony. Right here, I want to say I'm just about to turn the sound up for about 3 seconds, so just to give you a sound warning, and so you don't blow your ears out with the microphones, and then we're going to jump back on with the rest of the review. So let's going to turn the sound up in 3, 2, 1. Rightio, so there it is. There's my review with the RUNCAM 6, RUNCAM 5 Orange, whatever you want to call it. And overall, I think the quality is okay. Definitely, it is nowhere near as good as a GoPro 8, especially with the hyper smooth, all that sort of stuff. Some of that footage can look extremely juicy, but that camera is bigger, it's heavier, you're going to need a bigger mount to put it in. You might already have a lot of session mounts at home, and the big one, it is a lot more expensive. So this little bad boy, I've got to say, it's doing some things right, especially when it comes to the price, and I feel like for the quality that you get, it's okay. It's not going to be as amazing, and yeah, you could muck around with some of the different distortions and settings and all that sort of stuff, but it is approaching what I would say kind of like the old school RUNCAM Session 5, so it's getting close to being that kind of quality. So for some of you guys out there, you're looking for a cheap alternative, you be the judge of the footage. I've seen some other footage online as well. I think it looks just maybe a 7 out of 10, but also for those people who really want the best of the best, it's not going to cut it in terms of comparing up to something like the GoPro 8. Oh, and I should also say too, we went out one time and the camera just completely locked and froze up, and I couldn't do anything about it. It was getting a little bit warm, so I'm not too sure what that was about. I had to come home and then I had to go back in, find the manual, and reset it by sticking a little pin in one of these this little bit that's in right here. Had to reset it before it would kind of take the SD card out before it would do anything. So that happened once anyway in one of our flight sessions when we went out. So don't know what was happening in that one bit. Anyway, on that, subscribe for more FPV related content, and as always, happy flying. And how crazy was that wind? Absolutely ridiculous. What's going on Australia? Either on fire, underwater, or just blowing away in a gale. So anyway, other than that, happy flying. Alright Tony, what are we flying here? Doesn't even fit in shot.
No, this is an ASW28 glider with a small puller motor on the front.
I'm saying, oh dear, oh dear. You ready? He's gonna look at the plane, here it goes.